Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 Today.
Good morning and happy Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us here on NBC 16 Today. I'm Zach Bruhl. Lily Taylor is off today. We'll get to your top stories in just a moment, but first we're taking a look at a pretty decent shift in our weather forecast as we kick off our Wednesday, starting to see some moisture through the Hyatt Tower Camp. First time in quite some time here in Eugene that we've seen some rainfall, and it's going to be spread across the northern portion of our region throughout these early morning hours. One of the couple of shifts happening to our forecast as we move forward through the middle part of our week. But yeah, that rainfall has started here across Western Oregon as we get the day going. But the other shift that we're talking about today is a pretty big shift in temperatures. Yesterday was kind of sweater weather as you woke up in the early morning hours. Today, seeing a massive jump back up into the 60s as we get the day started today, even mid 60s in some spaces. This is compared to low 50s and high 40s that we saw across the region yesterday. So some pretty big changes as we get the day started, even so much so that the Roseburg area, not the hottest spot on the map for the first time in a couple of weeks in these early morning hours. Overall, though, temperatures sitting between the high 50s, mid 60s as we start the day today. Now, this is where we're starting to see those signs of moisture. It's from a low pressure system bringing a few waves of rainfall into the area. It's not going to amount to very much, but it is a significant shift compared to the dry conditions we've seen over the past few months. Now, not a lot of rainfall, like I said, but still an opportunity to just see some fresh moisture in the area for the first time in quite some time. Most of it's going to be localized into the early morning hours today. We should get the most of it through before we get to the afternoon hours here in the region, and then cloud coverage will persist throughout the next 24 hours, which will help to keep our temperatures tamped down into the mid 70s at the very warmest parts of your Wednesday. A string of cougar sightings has neighbors in northwest Corvallis on edge. Wildlife officials say there have been 4 confirmed sightings in just the past week. Now, this is a map of both confirmed and reported sightings broken down by date. You can see these sightings have mostly happened in neighborhoods. There was one sighting at the Witham Hall Natural Area, all of them north of Oregon State University. Vasily Varlamov spoke with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, who says once the cougar is caught, it will be euthanized.
Was able to capture a cougar in their backyard.
4 confirmed cougar sightings in less than a week in this quiet Corvallis neighborhood. Neighbors say wildlife like deer and turkeys often roam the streets, but nobody has ever seen a big cat in the area before.
Between the turkeys and the deer, it doesn't seem unusual that someone would see something come into the city to try to, maybe get a snack. I don't know.
The first sighting was on July 31st. ODFW confirmed reports from neighbors that the cougar killed a deer fawn and dragged it underneath a resident's deck. ODFW said when they responded, they found the dead deer, but not the cougar. The next day, pest control crews near Whitham Hall Natural Reserve came face to face with the big cat under a porch. The cougar jumped a fence and left as police responded. Since then, there have been 2 other sightings confirmed by ODFW and 2 other reported sightings.
We're just worried because school starts in a little bit and there are trails down to the elementary school that are all wooded.
Kids often walk this trail to school alone, but parents say that's not happening until this cougar is caught. ODFW says they are working with Corvallis police to track down the animal. Oregon law allows the removal of cougars when it poses a threat to human safety.
A sighting or 2 might not be that uncommon for a cougar to wander through an urban area, but continued sightings does cause some concern. So in this situation, we would remove and euthanize that cougar. We don't relocate cougars.
I'm Vasily Varlamos reporting.
Thank you, Vasily. ODFW stressed that people should not feed wildlife as it can attract predators, lead to other environmental concerns.
Yeah, last night, as I was trying to get to bed, I thought that I was smelling my baby's poop, and I was like, what's that smell? It's coming through the window. And then I saw someone was posting on Reddit about it, and I've been wondering since then what it is.
Yeah.
We are 5 minutes past the start of the 6 o'clock hour, and here in the area, complaints about a mysterious foul smell throughout Eugene and Springfield have prompted an LRAPA investigation. The Layton Regional Air Protection Agency says they've received at least 15 complaints over the weekend, all describing a strong, unpleasant odor compared to dog feces or manure. The odor was reported from across the region, from downtown Eugene to the Thurston area in East Springfield, which has made it harder to track down.
Knowing that many people had all kind of felt strong enough to put in a complaint certainly merited our agencies start to make steps to launch an investigation and see if we can kind of figure out what's going on. It would have been convenient to had it been concentrated in one part of the area, one part of the community, but unfortunately in this case it's downtown Eugene, Coburg to Thurston, so it's pretty across the entire valley, unfortunately.
LRAPA investigators are now retroactively analyzing weather data, including wind speed and direction during the time of the complaints. They're also reaching out to permitted industrial facilities, looking into biosolid applications in agricultural zones and considering other environmental factors. LRAPA notes that summer weather conditions, particularly stagnant air and high heat, can trap odors in the atmosphere. Now, air stagnation also occurs during the winter. The agency warns against speculating where the smell is coming from and that there is currently no evidence that the odor poses a health risk. If you're sensitive to smell or feeling uneasy, you can take steps to protect yourself. If you're indoors and notice it, keep windows closed as well as your doors and consider running an air purifier. LRAPA encourages people to keep filing complaints with as much detail as possible. They also warn the investigation may not find a definitive source nor answer.